Alrighty. Peace, love, and law. Everybody, y'all can hear me loud and clear, correct?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. We're gonna give about a few more minutes before we get started. And then we're gonna answer these questions for you guys today. That'll be the first round, and then after that, we'll talk about just inform you guys a little bit on what's the upcoming class that we do have as well. People have been asking about, so I figure we'll take the time to tackle that as well too today. Other than that, everybody in here doing good. Welcome to In God We Trust Academy podcast, and today we are letting you guys in on the Declaration of Trust Q&A, as always. And this is just me extending my services to you guys in a manner that I like to do this because I know people ask questions when we first do a class, and a lot of people haven't really developed the questions, or a lot of times when we do live stream, you're doing everything else, moving around, cooking, telling the kids sit their ass down, all kind of stuff going on. So just allow you to be able to go back and hear everything, and be able to come forward and ask your questions from that point forward, so that you can gather your thoughts correctly. But it's been a beautiful day. I hope everybody else has had a great day. And we're going to take this opportunity to hop on what you guys need for today. So just a few more minutes, and I'll use that time right now to make these few announcements to you guys. So this month, no less than 14 days from now, today, the People's Private Bank, which is what we're going to also speak about later on tonight as well. But it's about turning your goods and services into currency and building your wealth system. It's on the 20th here, and it's going to be an in-person class. We'll be in Seattle, Washington. So if you are around that particular area, you're more than welcome. And also a live stream. So if you can't make it, we do have a live stream for you guys as well. We'll be at 2336 15th Street Avenue, South Seattle, Washington. And the time is 10 a.m. Pacific time. The donation is $200 for the live stream, $250 in person. And the deadline to register is the 16th, which is in 10 days. We'll probably move it, but that's just to give us enough time, because I think we're traveling on that actual the next day. So that Tuesday we'll be traveling, but we'll just have to see how it go. I know a lot of people wait for the last minute for whatever reason, but it always happens that way. But this is going to be a great class, very informative for you. So like I said, we're going to talk about a little bit of that tonight. So be ready. If so, maybe we'll answer some of y'all questions when it comes to that. Also, coming up July the 26th, today, like I said, we're talking about the Declaration of Trust for a Q&A, but the next class is going to be a trust administration and how to fully administrate your trust and protect it, the assets, whether in court, arbitration, and things of that nature, or of anybody that creates a constructive trust by taking something of yours, unjust enrichment, or anything of that nature. So this is going to be in Destin, Florida, or we'll say Fort Walton Beach, which is about 15, 20 minutes up the road from Destin, Florida. So we're going to be there as well. And this is July the 26th. Live stream is $200. Again, in person is $250. You can register at ingodwetrustacademy.com. Again, that is ingodwetrustacademy.com. So come out, rock with us, learn much as possible as you can. Yes, this is for beginners as well as those who are advanced. I think everybody can always learn something. And then also August the 9th, we will be in Houston, right? Houston, we'll be in Houston, or should I say Missouri City, which is right outside of it. But at the same time, we will be there in the facility, and we're going to have Hidden Ledger class. The Hidden Ledger class is about you learning how to set up non-interest bearing accounts with your trust, etc., and being able to make contributions, because we know they practice fractionalized reserve banking. And that's literally where if you deposit $100, then they can literally create $1,000 out of that. And that equity belongs to you. And $900, right? So we're going to show you exactly how to receive that in equity and everything, but the account has to be set up specifically for those particular reasons as well. So just learning how to utilize and barter with the bank is a major thing as well. So we will be live streaming in person again this August 9th, time 10 a.m. Central Time, and the location is live stream and in person. So again, the address is we're going to be at the Maestro's Barber Academy, 2420 Cartwright Road, Missouri City, Texas. That's $200 for the live stream. In person is $250. You can go register at InGodWeTrustAcademy.com. Again, InGodWeTrustAcademy.com. We also have a flash sale going on right now. The power to set off debt and lawful redemption. It's literally 2 classes, so it's $150 for both. This is for a limited time only. This will be going on till Sunday. So do get that as well in GodWeTrustAcademy.com. All right. Our services that we offer is traffic defense services, nonviolent gun charge services, child support defense services, due process of violation services, foreclosure defense services as well, whether judicial or non-judicial, doesn't matter, debt collector and garnishment services as well. So you can also go to InGodWeTrustAcademy.com to go and check out our services. We also got the same day consultation as well. That's also on InGodWeTrustAcademy.com. And don't forget, every Monday and Wednesday, we have free classes for you guys. 11 a.m. Central Time on Monday, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Central Time. If you want to join, go to, make sure you send us an email, admin@InGodWeTrustAcademy.org. Again, that's admin@InGodWeTrustAcademy.org. So admin@InGodWeTrustAcademy.org. And you will literally be placed into work sessions and be able to come in, ask your questions and things like that. Put in work, tell your testimonies, whatever it may be, but just know we working at all times, right? You can stay in touch with us on YouTube, In God We Trust Academy, Facebook, In God We Trust Academy, and also follow myself, Eric Ingram Bay, Instagram, GrandWazir_MNRP, and as well as TikTok, MNRP6192020, or Turban Swag. That's with 2 G's, no separation. In God We Trust Academy as well on Twitch. And that's also no separation in that. And just remember, InGodWeTrustAcademy.com is where all of our classes, etc., are at if you're interested. Also, February the 21st, 2026, we have a free, we're going to give away a car. So we're giving away a 2026 Toyota Camry. You got a chance to win that by purchasing a raffle ticket, which is also $10 per ticket. You can buy as many as you like. You must have a ticket to claim any prize. There will be a few cash prizes as well, but we will be here in Huntsville, Alabama. We're going to have a pop-up shop. So if you're interested in that, you're more than welcome to vibe with us on that. If you want to be a vendor or et cetera at this event, you're more than welcome to come do that. But yes, somebody's going to win a brand new 2026 Toyota Camry. So do not forget that. All right. And hope to see a lot of you guys there. We'll be networking and things like that. It's not going to be any class teaching or nothing like that. Just networking, getting to know people, eating some great food, having a good time, listen to some good music, stuff like that. And just see the excitement on the people who win, right? And that is it for all of our announcements. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into this and let's get ourselves started. And let's get the vibe in. Go hit this record button and get started on our day-to-day. All right, so this is the Declaration of Trust, Q&A. Everything that you guys hear from this point forward is for educational or religious purposes only. Anybody seeking any form of legal advice, please do seek a legal advisor, as it is my religious duty to speak my experiences and religious truth with you guys here today, right? So let's jump it off. You guys have watched the video, read the ebook as well. Let's see what type of question you guys got for us today. Any questions? Come on now. Go ahead, Ja.
How you doing, PCE?
Pretty good.
Can you hear me
pretty
okay?
good.
I think that I just have some general questions about, because I did take your building the kingdom class, and I would like to create a church for myself and my wife, keep it open for membership so it doesn't look like um, there are some fraudulent things happening with the trust. But I would like you to talk a little bit about how you would set that up for yourself and your wife if you want to have, like you do, a church organization that will be the trustee for your individual trust, and what the tax implications would be for transferring or assigning the wages to the church organization if you both individually have your irrevocable living trust set up.
So you're like but see, you're asking what you're asking is first, like how do you set up a 508c1a? As I'm sure that's what you're speaking of, and how do you make it
Yes.
pretty much the trustee over your trust, and how do you convey those wages, etc., to the actual 50c1a if you have two separate trusts between you and your wife, correct?
Absolutely.
All right, so you got to look at it
Thank
from
you.
this point. It's not necessarily that you even have to convey it to the actual 508c1a. You don't have to do it that way. You can do it directly to your own trust. Both of you guys, literally to your trust. The 508 is literally just going to be a trustee. But remember, like, even for like what I do is like, okay, having that particular entity. If I was to, operate in that entity, then I'm going to take the 508, but I'm going to make the 508 appoint a specific trustee, which would be yourself. So now that allows you to fully deal with the trust yourself. The only way the 508 steps in after that is if you come in an incapacitated position to handle your trustee's duties, which now means the officers of the 508 steps in and just follow through what the trust is declared as, right? And with that being said, so you can just automatically donate the wages to the actual trust, and you can literally either give, because if you do it to the 508, then that means you're going to pay yourself for volunteer services or compensation for volunteer services. But that automatically, well, it's tax exempt too, but it also leaves it for them to be able to get it's like an ownership. So if a third party wanted to come and sue, et cetera, then that would lead them access. So you really want the trust to own it specifically and make the trust literally use those wages to take care of your family, et cetera, in certain different ways.
Okay. Are you saying, because the way that I'm a visual person, and I wrote this out, talked to ChatGPT about it, and the breakdown that they gave me was that my wife and ours, our irrevocable trust, would assign and or donate our income, wages, or what have you, to the church. And then as members of the church would be a trustee for our irrevocable trust, but as members of the church would take care of its members. Is that
I
a
mean, you
fraudulent
could do
setup?
it. You could do it that way, but you could do the exact same thing through the trust. See, like you could be a beneficiary of something, but never have ownership. You just have a beneficial interest. The trust can own the actual money itself and still take care of you, your family. Because like the thing about trust is you can give the wages of the trust for whatever purpose that you want to. If the trust duty is to take care of the benefit, like it owns the money, but it takes care of the beneficiaries, living, staying, all of this different type of stuff, bills, whatever the case may be, based upon the mission, you can do that. Like, or it could just literally give full services or compensation to the trustee if you're going to operate from the 508. Like you were just saying, it could do it that way too. And it's just compensating. And, you can really just make the compensation through making payments for whatever you do or need.
I after reviewing your ebook, which is very thorough, by the way, I want to ensure that the administrative part of it, that everything is accounted for. And so I did hear you in class say you don't really need to have all these LLCs and additional entities. I'm more concerned about the tax ID number because obviously like I don't want to operate in my individual capacity anymore. Would we need to establish EINs for each
Only if you,
irrevocable trust?
I mean, you can if you can if you want to, but you're gonna only get an EIN for like banking purposes or something of that nature. Like even if you get an EIN for the 508, it's literally for banking purposes to go get a bank, right? And you get a get a bank account. Excuse me. And when you get a bank account, you use that particular EIN, but everything that's being done within the 508 is automatically still tax exempt, according to 26 USC 508 C1A.
So could I send my current wages instead of them going to my personal bank? Could I now just send them directly over to the church?
I mean, of course, if that's what you want to do.
And then the church as a trust, as a trustee, would be able to take care of
The members, which
my
is
wife and
yourself.
I.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, say that one more time. I
I
didn't
mean,
hear you.
yeah, it's which is yourself. The main thing is just make sure you write it down in that particular manner. You just have to
Okay.
say that that's what the money is given for. The money, you can say literally these wages, et cetera, is given to the church to take care of the members of the church.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you so much for that explanation. That makes everything like super clear. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. All right. Mark Klein.
Hey, Art, thanks for hosting this tonight. Question I had was with regards to conveyances. Since we're, well, not since, if we're putting everything into trust that wasn't there previously, it's not like we're purchasing something new. Can we or should we group them together and put it, or just do it all on one conveyance, do it all on
Yeah,
a
you
separate
can do it
conveyance?
all on one conveyance if you write it completely out. But again, you got to be mindful. It might be certain things that you want to happen with certain type of property that you don't want to happen with the other. So even if you do it all
Yeah.
together, you need to specify if you got a special purpose for a certain part of an asset, then you want to make sure that you clarify that in the conveyance, which is the legal title.
Yeah, what I've done initially is I just grouped it by bank accounts as one conveyance.
That's cool.
EIN, another conveyance.
Right.
And I just did it like that, so that way I could keep my head straight as I was doing it, and keep all the like kind together.
Right. That's perfectly fine. Like I say, it's all about making it easier for you and the transitioning easier for you and making sure that you understand exactly what you're doing. Like I say, it's really not a right or wrong way of dealing with trust unless you're doing something that is not written, if that makes sense.
Okay, and then with that in mind, so the would it be what would be the method? Would it be ownership? Like if it's stuff that we're putting in from the past, would it be just an ownership, like an ownership title, or
Nah, you got to
deed?
convey it first. So you
Okay.
convey it, and once you convey it, now the trust actually has the outright ownership to it because you're conveying it to the trust for whatever specific purpose. Now, you can convey something to the trust to hold something for a beneficiary, or you can convey it to the trust to where the trust actually owns it itself.
No, I was talking about on the actual chart. Hold the book up. On the actual chart itself. Let's see if I can find it here. That's fine. So it says like no, that's not it. Go to the next one. The next document. No, go back. Go up the other way. Stop.
What chart are you talking about?
Look at in the back of your book, the documents that you put in. I'm just trying to understand it. go
Like the
so
certificate, the
right there.
certificate of ownership and use is just literally like an equitable title. So you can give
Where
a
it says-
certificate of ownership to, well, the certificate of ownership could be literally that it belongs to the trust and somebody's in use of it. So it could be the trustee in use of it, or it could be a beneficiary in use of it.
I'm talking about where you have like asset type, description, serial number, estimated value, convey the last one, conveyance method.
Okay.
So as warranty deed, sometimes like I can see if I bought a car 2 years ago and I bought it directly in the trust name, so therefore that would be the conveyance method, the bill of sale.
Okay.
So if
you
I'm
can do a bill of sale, of course, if you want to sell it to the trust. Yes.
Okay. Or I can do just, it says declaration of ownership file. I'm only filing with the trust. Is that what that refers to?
Everything is going to be filed into the trust. When you say declaration of ownership, like a declaration of ownership is just saying you outright own some form of property and that you do have the power and right to convey it to the trust.
Okay. All right. That's fair enough.
It's not public.
So, okay. Thanks. I appreciate it.
All right, you're welcome. What's up, Ricardo?
What's up, man? Blessings. So I had a similar question to the first guy. Well, not a similar, just a piggyback off of him. I got the idea from. Oh, by the way, I did the dismiss. I went to the court case and I got it completely dismissed. Just to give you the finish out on how that worked
You can
out.
tell us Monday.
Yeah, and then I was thinking of taking the vehicle where they stopped me at and conveying it to my church. That I already have a church set up and I already have a bank account set up, but I wasn't too sure or didn't feel too right yet unless I asked you more or less, because you told me we can backdate, that we're time travelers on this, right?
Right.
Right. So, but would I be able to do that even though? Because don't we have to send anything to like registration or anything of that nature, like from that time frame, from that back date that we're doing it?
I mean, the thing is this, like, you can do it today and file it whenever you get ready to. Nobody knows your own personal business. Maybe you've been caught up with other stuff that you ain't just been able to file it yet, but they still have to go off the base of the legal title, which is the conveyance itself. So, I mean, it's totally up to you. If you're going to convey a vehicle and you feel like that, you have already been using it in the operation of a trust services, meaning that for your church, etc., you've already been doing that. It's already been entrusted for that particular reason. Then that's what you call an implied contract in the beginning anyway. So it's already implied that you've been using it. So now it's just literally to put it on paper.
Got it. Oh, I see where you're coming with it. Yeah. That makes so much sense now. Okay, got it. That was it. You hit it for me. Thank you, man.
All right, no problem. Destiny, what's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. How about
Okay, I
yourself?
have a few questions. Thank you. So, in regards to those of us that are creating a trust, like without the help of our families, and we have to exercise different levels of capacity, I know that I can't play all roles because that would make it void, right?
Nope, you
But what
can.
I'm okay,
You
but
just have to
I know it's
understand what
basically
you're doing
capacity.
when it comes to
Mhm.
what role you're playing. Like, you can't take a
Right.
conveyance title. You can't take the conveyance and then start speaking like on beneficiary purposes.
Mm-hmm.
You can only use an equitable title to speak from the beneficiary perspective. If you're going to be the trustee, then you got to speak from the use a conveyance. You see what I'm saying? If you're going to be
Yeah.
even if you're going to act as the grantor, then you also have to speak from a conveyance perspective as well, because you had already given it to the trust, or unless the actual grantor has a beneficial interest or right to use something, then you can also speak from an equitable perspective as well too. It's just all about knowing where you're coming from and which actual document in the trust to use.
Okay, I guess excuse me, my main thing is like, how do I back myself with that? Because I know it's different legal entities, but like for instance, I know I have to do my status, not correction, but just for you to understand what I'm saying. I have to do all of those things. What is going to help me back
You
those different
don't. You got
capacities
to
that
do
I'm
all of
doing?
what? Be more specific.
For me, I know I want to do my affidavits and I want to file my different claims and update my new minute record at the Social Security Administration. All those
I mean,
things
that's
that
cool,
I
but
know I
what that's
want to
got to
do.
do with your property being held in some form of trust that you have no right of ownership to it? It belongs to the trust. That ain't got nothing to do with you.
That's right. I just want to distinguish because I don't want them to look on paper and be like, "That's the same person." You
But
know what
they're
I mean?
not
And I don't
gonna
have
be.
nothing to.
But see, I keep telling y'all this. Like, you keep trying to place yourself as a living individual to deal with a corporation, and you can't do that. They're gonna always deal with the individual, no matter what. So the
Right.
individual itself, when I say individual, I mean the straw man or whatever you guys want to call it. That's what they're gonna look at, and it has the right to convey. It has the right to own. It has the right to sell. It has the right to do anything and everything with its own property that you want to. You're just authorized or the authorized representative of it that has conveyed it into a trust. There's already the separation is made between the actual trust and the actual individual or straw man. So now the straw man has no rights or ownership or interest into what is already been placed into the trust that you let the trust particularly own. The thing is, you
Right.
need to make sure that the straw man does not have any form of beneficial interest, because if it does, that means it's going to fail the control test and they still have the right to tax it. So that's why
I
I say
see.
you always want to make sure that whatever you grant from the straw man, regardless, that it does not gain the power to act or have control over any form of assets that's being held within the trust.
Okay, in my mind, I see that as kind of like season all of the properties it's been collecting, all of that real estate, putting it into my own. Like I want to create my own registry, and that's the main thing I think of with having my children. So, thank you. And then, okay, going off of the first question that he asked, it made me think when we're creating like our private church or our nonprofit. Ideally, I assume it's not beginner friendly, but listening to the education information, I'm like, why not go ahead and set it up? What really makes that like I'm not gonna say legitimate, but kind of like what would make that have more standing because I am a beginner. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna take my time, I'm gonna read it, I'm gonna
Well,
make
the
sure
thing
I assert
is
what I
like,
want.
see, when y'all start mentioning religious perspective, then automatically it places it in another form of protection. Because, like, you got to
Okay.
understand what religious auxiliaries are. When you go read 508c18, that means any auxiliaries that is created from this particular real religious entity. So whether it's a trust, whether it's a corporation, whether whatever, it already is considered to be form of tax exempt. So that's just like if you see a church and then you see then it's got a school. It might have, like a farmer's type market or whatever the case may be. It's already tax exempt. So if you do this, so that means now if this particular church creates a trust, everything that's in it is already used for religious purposes. So therefore, it's automatically exempt. You don't have to apply for exemption. It just is, because it's being used for religious purposes. And what takes place in that, number one, is Article 1, Section 10. The state cannot create any laws impairing the obligations of contract. Then also number two is the freedom of the right to exercise, religion. So that means they can't create any law impairing the exercise of religion as well. So if you're using a particular property for religious purposes, etc., then it's fully tax exempt anyway.
Okay, that makes sense. You always tell us they can't define what's sacred to us.
No, they
Okay,
cannot.
my last question. I've been looking into whole life insurance policies and CDs, and I've been pondering on a CD because I'm thinking about my degrees, and that's a certificate, right? And you just said a certificate, all certificates are titles, so that took me somewhere. But if we want to attach, say, like a whole life or infinite banking system to our trust, kind of like how would I initiate that? I would be bonding it on my own and stuff like that,
I mean,
or
literally,
like
or that, or you can literally make the trust the beneficiary of that particular life insurance that you're talking about, or you can literally you can buy it and you can literally do that and convey it into the trust. However you want to do, it's totally up to you. And now the trust
okay,
has the right to control it. And now that means, okay, now when you start doing it like that, now the trust is operating in the form of another way of a form of private banking, to where now it gets to create what can be loaned, what can be done for whatever specific purposes. You can put it in there like nobody, if you wanted to borrow money from the trust, it could pull from that particular, that like the life insurance that you're talking about, right? It could pull from that
Yeah.
within itself and allow you to borrow money from it and create your own terms, etc. And that's more of how, the Rockefellers do as well.
So when I say if I go with the company, right? Because I don't know everything. But
What
if
do you
I go
mean?
with the company and like an insurance company, because I'm trying to figure out, could I just really do it on my own is really what I want to do, or if I go with an outside company, once I convey it, does that redefine the terms?
No,
You know what I
you
mean?
you create the terms in full of your, when it comes to the policy, when it comes to you conveying it. Like they understand exactly what you're trying to do, regardless. When you get with the right people that know, and you want to make sure that it's set up, it has to be set up a proper way to even do it in the first place. But just making sure that you do that. But yes, it can be conveyed into a trust. Just tell them that you want the trust to have full control over it, or you can tell them that the trust is the beneficiary of it as well. So it's just all about what you want to do, and that's the main reason why this is called estate and planning.
Thank you. That'll conclude all my questions for tonight.
All right, thank you. What's up, Terry?
Hey there. Thanks for your patience on all this. And Destiny, a shout out to you because I've really got a lot of your questions, and I'm like, man, you got good questions. But mine's maybe more simpler. So I'm stuck in this world where I'm like, I feel like I'm jumping into a double Dutch, rope game, and it's getting in that's hard. And once you're in, you get your rhythm. But so there's an individual who files a 1040, and then boom, out of the blue, so I did like the certificate of certificated securities, right? So we took charge of the social security person and the birth certificate person. But how do we just all of a sudden then turn on a trust? And you file the 1041 as zeros, option 2, and then you file as a grantor through the 1040. Am I even making sense?
No, I mean, there's no point if everything is already like, the only way you got to do a 1040 is because you're still saying the grantor has rights and interests and stuff. Otherwise, there's no point to do that.
Okay, and that gets you then from a grant, instead of a revocable living trust, which is a grantor's trust, then it takes you into more of a irrevocable trust, where the grantor then has
The only
other.
reason people use grantor's trust or revocable trust is because it's easy to move around the assets that you want to do. Like if you're going to sell something, if you're going to use stuff for certain things, investments to have the right to access to and stuff like that, then you can do a revocable. But if you know that this is something that you want to keep and you see what I'm saying, and make sure that it protected, it's judgment proof, etc., then irrevocable.
So would it be fair to say that kind of a larger umbrella would maybe be an irrevocable, and you might have a revocable living trust
Well, see,
under
that's why
the
I say,
irrevocable?
like me personally, I'm not finna set up 3-4 trusts just to do that. I'm just careful about what I say in my declaration. I'm careful about what I say in my conveyance, because at the end of the day, every conveyance is still its own trust. It's just it's a trust dealing with specific property. So you can look at it as a form of a sub-trust that's being done in relation to a property, some form of property.
Okay, so going
Like
with the idea
to
that
help you out understand this, like I could convey a specific amount of money to the trust, and this I'm going to allow the trust to convey, trade, sell, whatever the case they want to do with this particular money. All right. Now, then I might give another set amount of money, and they cannot they cannot trade with it. They cannot use it for investment. It has to be set aside for one specific purpose. So now it's all about, because if you do it irrevocable, then it still has to go to the purpose of what it was being conveyed into. The only thing about irrevocable is the actual grantor has no rights or interests or ownership in it at all.
Which, can you give me an example then of the different parties in the trust, knowing that it's really just my husband and I, and what or who, or is it a different trust that becomes a trustee?
What do you, I
Um,
don't understand what you're trying to say.
So I guess I can't think of, if you have the grantor not having any rights over the trust. I know there's a way to have rights over those things, but you have to do it through other vessels, right?
No, I mean, the only
Yep.
vessel is the trust.
Okay, so you have a grantor. Let's say it's me. I'm the grantor. My social security number is the straw person is the grantor. So who could I be the trustee and the beneficiary
Yeah,
of the
you can.
oh,
It's not a problem with being the grantor, the trustee, and the beneficiary. The thing is, what people mess up is, like I said earlier, people will
Right.
try to say, hey, I'm the trustee, and then use the equitable title to make a claim. That's for the beneficiary. Or they'll act as the beneficiary and try to use the conveyance as to make a form of claim. That's for the trustee to use. Like, it's the actual performance that matters. And what you're trying to state and say, because you can say you a beneficiary, and then if you stating or trying to make a claim as you are outright owner of it, now that takes away a lot of stuff, because now you're saying, okay, well, it don't belong to the trust, and we got a right to take this from you. You see what I'm saying?
kinda. I'll have to re-listen to this, I'm sure.
I mean,
But-
it's no simple. It's very simple. Like, seriously, it's real simple. If the trustee says, a trustee is automatically going to do something on behalf of the trust because the trust owns it. A beneficiary is going to do something because it has the beneficial interest into a particular property that is owned by the trust, or that means that they outright going to own it by beneficial ownership. You see what I'm saying? Like, at some time, it could be like, at the age of 18, $20,000 is to be issued to this individual. So as soon as they turn 18, $20,000 becomes theirs. It's no longer the trust. The trust is not holding it. It's automatically theirs. Do you understand
Okay.
what I'm saying?
I do.
Okay, so now, as soon as you own it, guess what? Any form of third-party creditor, the fact that you own it, now they get to come and hit you immediately because they found out you got some money.
Oh. So it becomes taxable then?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so you don't really want to have somebody own anything, and that goes back to,
You don't want to
Controlling,
own
but-
anything. You just want to control it.
and so the trustee controls it from a legal title, and a beneficiary controls it by the equitable title.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so I think what you're saying maybe is that as you move in these different capacities with these different hats, you use different verbiage, and that in itself gives you the ability to be all three of these
Yes.
entities. Okay. And then another question, if you set up a trust account at Fidelity or something, and I've heard things where if you money gets put into that, that you have to move it. You have to move it right away. You can't just, or do I have to create a holding trust? I'm sorry that I'm so confused, Eric, but thank you.
See, now make it make sense. Listen to what you asked me. Why?
All right, okay.
If you're gonna say you got to move it, what's the reason? Why you got to move it? If it's in the trust, what's the purpose of it being moved?
I don't know, man. I've just heard
Yeah,
of
so that's
people
what I'm
that,
saying. Like, so what you saying does not make sense. Because if you just like, what behind what reason? What is the reason of me having to move some money because I put it in a trust? What's the reason?
I don't know, but from what I had gathered, and I'm obviously confused, but there's been cases where funds have been sent to the trust that needed to be dispersed to beneficiaries within a certain time frame, and if it's not,
That's because those funds said that they had to be dispersed based upon the conveyance of the funds. So it does have to be dispersed to the beneficiaries at a certain time. Like I said, if an individual turns 18 and that somebody conveyed some money to a trust and said the trust needs to hold this till this individual turns 18, then when they turn 18, they have to disperse that money to the actual beneficiary. But here's the thing, the beneficiary absolutely owns the money now. And that means that if they are being sued or any form of creditor, they can come touch that money because it's theirs. And I also
Right.
can be taxed on it because it was a form of transaction being coming into them. So it's the same thing. That's why, for real, when y'all get these insurance and all this type of stuff, man, stop making your children the ownership of these stuff, man. Make it go to the trust because now they have to pay full taxes on everything.
Oh, that's a cool idea. So you're saying is people that have maybe they've got 401ks or something, and then they have to identify. So we don't have kids, but you identify the percentages for each of your heirs, and instead of a child, make that be a
You put it in a
trust.
trust and let the trust do it. And then you make the trust own the money. Just make the trust own the money and specify what the trust is to do with the money in place of taking care of the children. That is its obligation and performance. It don't mean that the children owns the money once it hits the trust. It just means they got a beneficial interest in it.
Okay, you're making sense to me. You're making sense to me. And so then going back out again to this irrevocable trust, if it's the umbrella, would you need any other kind of trust, especially if you're going to?
If
So in
you
the
want
case
to
we
do
just
a
talked,
lot of work, yes, you can do
No,
that.
no.
But I'm not doing all that work. I don't need number one trust to do everything that I want to. Like I said, it's all about how carefully that you write your conveyance. What are you saying when you convey certain property? What is the obligations and performance that you're wanting the trustee to do? What is the purpose of the use of this asset that's being placed into the trust? That's it. That's all that really matters. Going to get three, and I said, most people only get a revocable trust is because they want to be able to move or still give grantors right. And when they usually do that is because they're not the trustee themselves. It's usually some form of lawyer or whoever the case may be. And, you know, that's cool. But for me, if I'm going to be the one that's sitting in control of everything, and I know I'm going to be the trustee, well, guess what? I'll just give all the powers to the trustee to do whatever it is they want to with the property. Now, guess who's the trustee? Me.
gotcha.
So I can do
And
whatever I want to with it, just like I could when I was the grantor in the first place. So you got to remember the grantor itself is the king. And then the trustee is the king's hand. So they're just like when the king is absent, then the trustee has all the same rights, powers, and duty to do exactly what the actual grantor would have did in the first place. It's just a simple form.
okay. And so if when you're creating the actual document and the certificate of trust and things like that, you would use the all caps name as the grantor. You would come up with an iteration of your name as the trustee, and then use maybe a
No,
different iteration of your.
No, you don't. You see, you thinking about all this. Yeah, you still keep trying to, and I'm saying that because you still keep trying to find yourself as somehow, some way being the living person dealing with fiction entities, and
Right.
it don't exist like that. Like we're operating through avatars. So look at everything as a trust is his own person. Your straw man is his own person, right? And the beneficiaries, whoever they may be or whatever it may be, are his own persons as well. You're just the one that's operating everything like the Wizard of Oz. That's it.
Okay.
So and that's like the whole straw man theory and stuff like that, cool, whatever. But it's a bunch of bullshit when you start trying to think of it that way. Just understand that the trust owns it. That's it. That's the only thing you need to know. The trust owns it. You don't. Okay. Or
Right.
your straw man don't. And now
Right.
you as the trustee get to operate it. You just have control over it. You do not own it in no shape, form, or fashion.
But it's okay to have the same avatar be all positions. Just you have to be careful how you respond and act in that position.
I mean, that's it. Like it's just all about what you convey. Like I say, it's about what you put in your conveyance. If you don't put in your conveyance that this money has to be used for the caretaking of these individuals' household purposes, uniforms, whatever the case may be, for their religious purposes, like I say, if it's for religious purposes, then like you got to think about it. This deals with your dietary. That's part of your religion. The clothes you wear, that's part of your religion. Your housing, that's part of your religion. Why? Because you worship, pray there. You do all these things. You study the Bible. You have, you congregate with people in your home to speak on these type of matters, whatever the case may be. That all falls into religious aspect. So it's just about what you say and how you say it. That's what you need to focus on the most instead of worrying about who the player is. What did you say that needs to be done and who has control over it? That's it.
Okay. I
Because
think you're
the
helping.
truth is, it's no, like, and this is just being honest. It's no reason for any individual person, man or woman, to own any damn thing. Because right now, if somebody was to close their eyes today and that's it, you don't own nothing. It's gone. Your clothes, it's going to somebody else. Your car going to somebody else. So you might as well go ahead and give it up in the first place. I don't own nothing anyway. I'm just really building this up for a legacy for the next to come. That's the reason why when you read the Constitution, it says that they're giving everything to their posterity because they don't own it. No way. They know that everybody got a date and a time, and that date will come. And when it comes, you done passed on everything anyway. So really, everything that we building is not for us. You get to enjoy it, but you don't own it. You're just getting the beneficial interest from it. Now it passes on to your posterity. Even they don't own it. Why? Because they got a time in the day.
Right. So is that, I'm not trying to go off in the deep end, but would that be considered more like a charitable, had the name a second ago, trust, where rather than, hey, this percent is going to go to this person and this is going to go to this person, it's something that is in perpetuity.
But see, the
and will
thing about
continue.
if you do it like that, so if you want a perpetual trust, then you make sure the trust owns everything. If you don't want a perpetual trust, and then it has to disperse certain things to certain individuals at a certain whatever happens, then guess what? That trust will collapse. Those individuals will own it, and they will be taxed.
No, I want a perpetual. So that would lend me into the irrevocable trust, owning nothing, controlling everything, and then somehow not identifying specific individuals that have to have.
Let me ask you this. What does like I always tell people, do the exact same thing that your state or country do. What does a state or country do?
Well, they have the charitable trust. They just sort of take care of the needs of those that have needs, right?
Yeah, but just think about it. What do they do? Like, the thing is, everybody will say, "Oh, the people owns this." No, the people have rights and beneficial interests of use of it. Like when we say, "Oh, this is the public's," okay, yeah, because it's the public's right to have interest and beneficial use of it. But you don't own it. The government owns it. You see what I'm saying? Now, who granted it to the government? The people. So the people no longer has control over it. We gave it to the government, and now the public servants are trustees who has the right to control it, while the people are the beneficial interests of it. So that's
right,
why, that's why the people can come forward and get food stamps, because that is beneficial interest, that the government owns that actual money and they actually able to give it to those who are in need, etc. Right?
Okay.
So you just do the same exact thing they doing.
No, I like that idea, and that's a really good example. Except for I think they've really dropped the ball when it comes to their trusteeship.
No, they don't drop the ball. People just don't understand what's being said. People don't read and understand what it takes to get the things that you want to get and understand in law. They don't never drop the ball. They clearly write out and put everything in front of our face. It's just who's going to take the time to read it, to understand it, to do exactly what they're asking for, to receive the remedy that you want. That is because the ignorance of the people. Anything that we going on, they don't drop the ball. People drop the ball. Because one, they have the Constitution is a trust indenture itself, which we are afforded our rights and interests of, right? So if you think about it in that perspective, it's never them, it's us. We the one ignorant about it, not them.
So instead, you think they would perform as long as we insist they perform?
Anybody will perform if you know how to hold them to the fire.
Yeah, you're good at that. I'm not so good at it, but I'm learning.
That's what it takes.
That was a good example of what they do for us, that we were the original grantors and we granted it and gave it to them for the benefit of all of us.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your patience. Thank you.
No problem. Joel, man of God, what's up? Hit that microphone button. We'll come back to you. Audrey, what's up?
Sorry, man. I tried so hard to hit that microphone button so many times.
Go ahead.
This thing's playing. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry about that, man. I've been trying. So I thought of a whole bunch of things that I want to keep really, really short without asking a long question. Can you just give a really good example of all the possibilities of who can be grantor, beneficiary, and trustee? Because I'm seeing a lot of things that I'm just not figuring out about that right now.
I mean, like, that's a
keep it long.
broad question. Who can be a grantor? Anybody can be a grantor in my trust. You want to give me something? You want to grant something to my trust?
But I mean,
you're more than welcome.
Let me just explain this a little bit more. I don't really have too many people that I can really figure to be a trustee right now. And, it's pretty much just in the family. So can we be different positions at the same time? Can we be,
yes.
Who can I have as trustee?
Yourself.
I'm not trying to make it.
You can be the trustee,
So-
you can be the grantor, and you could also receive beneficial interest. You can even give yourself the right to use of something by being the trustee as long as you're operating and administrating for the trust.
So the only thing I can't be is the grantor, but I can be everything else.
No, you can be the grantor too. It's okay. You can be anything.
I can be all of them at the same time.
I mean, basically, but you can't go make a court case. You can't go, all right, put it like this. You can't file a claim in court and say that I'm the grantor trustee beneficiary here to represent the trust.
Right.
And they're gonna be like,
I know
okay,
that.
which one are you and what are you doing? Because
I get that.
it's either one or the other. Like either you're coming in as the trustee. So if you're coming in as the trustee, then now that
I get
means
it.
you are operating on behalf of the trust, and everything that you are issuing is from a legal title perspective. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, because I'm not worried about. I get that. That's not a big deal. The big deal is if I can be all three at the same time. Omitting that idea right there, that clears it up. That I can probably mix and match where I need to go.
Right.
So do we have to assign wages by note or bond? Or I know you gave other examples. I'm just looking through the paperwork. I know you gave other examples how we can put it in, by having wages put in by the trust name or other things. But I just want to clarify something you said about putting wages in by note or bond. Is that we have to do that in a certain
No,
way
you
for
can
some
just
reason?
literally say, I assign the wages from this employer. You can say all of it. You can say 50% of it, whatever the case may be, to the trust for whatever purpose that you want to be for the, you can say for the benefit of the trust. It don't even have to be for the people. It can be for the beneficial interest of the trust. And that's to help the trust expand and grow or take care of the trust obligations and duties that it has to perform.
And we don't need to do it by note or bond or anything like that. Just assign it just directly.
Yeah, you can just assign it just like that.
Now in your writing, you talked about like using a car and cash for trust purposes. Is there a specific purpose that we have to tell them someday if we really get in some sort of something deep that like it is for trust? It's for trust business only that I would use the car or whatever?
Yeah, but
do we have to get
nobody
specific?
knows what you're going to do or what you're doing ever. Nobody knows until
That's what
you
I'm
say
saying.
so. So if you want to say
That's what
that
I'm saying.
you're
Do
gonna
we?
use, go ahead.
Yeah. Do we have to be specific ever? That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
I
all.
mean, look,
And tell them.
you can say for whatever. Like I say, whatever it may be. Anytime you hop in your car, you can either say you're the trustee who has the right to use of this car for trust administrative purposes, or you can say you're the beneficiary who has a right and interest to use the car. You don't own it; you're just using it.
Yeah, and it could just be for vague purposes, like
Yeah,
because
it
I
could
was
just
given,
be, I'm
I was
going on a
granted,
trip.
nothing else.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be super specific then in front of any like court or some worst case scenario.
Nope.
That's what
You
you're
can
saying,
say
right?
you got the right to use of it. That's all that matters.
I heard something again. I did not see this in the thing that you wrote, but that we would take the all caps name and that would be the grantor. I just heard that from the last lady. Is that what we're supposed to do for sure? Because I didn't see that in the thing that you
I
wrote.
mean, the
unless
thing
I'm not
is
seeing-
my point is, no matter what you guys think or however you look at it, they're always going to deal with the all caps and look at, okay, does the all caps have
Right.
this? Because if it does, it's the U.S.
Right.
citizen and we get to tax it.
Right. Okay, almost done, man, because I want to give everybody a chance. So I was coming in, like, I'm a missionary, I've been spreading the word of God for over 10 years. I really give and don't get kind of a thing, really just burning it out there, helping people. And I kind of want to do kind of like a church trust. And I was thinking about this really heavily. I almost feel like I'm going to have to make 2 separate trusts to make it into a 503B or whatever that thing is called. Because I don't see how I can mend it all together, but I don't know if you can add something on
Well, you got
charity
to
or
be more
church.
specific on what you want to do when you say that you want to start a church trust. So, like, what is it that you actually want to do?
I guess I just want to operate with all the things that are covered by the charity, and I know with your trust, it's not all that necessary anymore. But I'm not trying to it's kind of stupid for me to continue to bring on, what I really want to do, and I'm just trying to just see if you have anything to say about how I can add
Well, see, that's
the
the main
charity
thing.
part
It
in.
is like anybody that's out here doing the trust, and you know that you conveying property. What is it that you want to do with this property in the trust? So even if you're setting up a 508c1a, and any church, a church is automatically a trust first and foremost. So let me state that.
Right. Yeah.
So anything that
Okay.
you want to do with it, you just need to list it down. Okay. Anything that's placed into
Okay.
the church's trust is going to be used for the missionary purposes. The missionary purposes is for
Right.
education, it's for charitable services, it's to compensate and take
Right.
care of the members, it's to clothe the members, it's to feed the members, it's to help with gas to give the members, help pay the members light bills or whatever the case may be. You can specifically do that and state that.
Yeah, I guess there's some other things that who knows what it is, but I'm not ready to really talk deeply about whatever it is. I'm just saying maybe you knew something, but I can just write that. So you're saying just kind of write down what I want, and that becomes it's the same thing. So
Yeah, because it's the mission, the purpose of the actual trust, the obligations and performance of the trust that the trustees, the members, whoever it may be, have to perform.
yeah,
So you don't
we're
have
gonna
to
get
go
a
in depth about what it is. It's just that's what you have to
right,
think
right.
of in mind to anything you're talking about.
Yeah, awesome, man. We're gonna get a recording of this too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, hey man, I just want to say really thank you, man. I've been studying 2.5 years, super hardcore, 10 to 12 to 16 hours a day kind of thing, and I'm really glad that for what you do, man. You might know like the Bad Wolf and stuff. I'm personal friends with him, and I just want to say so many thanks without keeping it really long on here for everybody else to get in. And I do want to share, God bless everyone again. I've seen impossible things change over 88 times after prayer to God and right to the amazing, man. So, and thank you, buddy. Really.
Thank you.
So-
Thank you as well, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man.
Amen.
All right. All right.
All right, Sister Audrey, what's up?
Hello. Yes, this is amazing, and I agree with him. I'm very thankful. I have a handful of questions, and the one, as you were talking to Miss Terry, I think her name was, that came to my mind is upon conveyance of an asset or a thing or whatever, that is it in that documentation of the conveyance instrument, or is it when you've already created your declaration that you create the stipulations as far as like what this particular thing that you're putting into the trust is going to be used for towards the beneficiaries? I'm wondering, so is it in the declaration that these things are set up for the beneficiaries, or
Yeah,
is it
if you can put it all into the declaration from the very beginning, then yes. Other than that, then you can just do it by conveyance on each set of property that you convey. Hey, this particular property is used for this reason, for this purpose. I'm giving the trustee the right to use, administer over it, or the rights of use of it for the benefit of the trust, or I'm giving the beneficiary the right to use of it. It don't own it, but the trust owns it. The beneficiary just has the right to use of it. So, I mean, if you
Okay.
don't get to put it in the declaration of trust, but that's the reason why if you go back and look, let me see if I can find it for you guys. If you go back and look,
Mm-hmm.
let me pull it up myself. I'm gonna show it to you
Okay.
because you're
Okay.
giving the power to the trustee. So now the trustee has the control of it to do what is necessary that needs to be done with whatever property, especially if it's given in a broad perspective that it gets to do whatever it needs to do with it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, so it's either going to be in two places or one place. Two places being in the declaration and or on the instrument that's being conveyed, or just on either one.
Right. It could be on either one, or it's already specified in the declaration of trust. But let me show you what I'm saying so I can show it to
Okay.
you. All right. All right. So when we look at this perspective, it's telling you the trustee shall have full legal title and exclusive fiduciary authority over all trust matters, including managing trust asset as private estate, not subject to statutory oversight, opening bank or brokerage accounts in trustee capacity, executing contracts, conveyances, and commercial transactions, distributing income, principal per the beneficiary clauses, hiring advisors, agents, representatives, issuing certificates of beneficial interest or capital contributions, establishing subtrusts, appointing successor trustees, defending the trust against claims, liens, or levies, relocating the situs or jurisdiction of the trust as needed, and whatever else that you want to give them the power to do. Like, you got to think about it. You're the king or queen in this situation. What do you want to give the power of the trustee to do? You can give it the right to do any and everything with it, as just if it's the owner of it.
Basically delegating the king's authority to
Yes,
do on his behalf.
absolutely.
Okay, got it. Okay, and thank you for that. And then when we were in class, this question came up, but we were kind of getting towards the end. And it was a long day. Just for clarification, and I don't know if this is a 2-in-1 question, but I think if I ask this, it's a lot, so I'll leave it at this. As the trustee is performing their duties or whatever it's called, they're conducting things according to the declaration on the behalf of the beneficiaries. My question is based and surrounded around the two things. The first one is, how do they go about doing that? If you create a bank account, then they would just have like a debit card or something for that specific trust bank account. And then, my question is, do they need a debit card, so that they can buy stuff, because they're not supposed to do it in their individual capacity. They're supposed to be doing
Because
it
the
like
trustee, see, y'all keep forgetting. Anything can go in the trustee's name or the actual trust name. Doesn't matter. So if you really want to go if you get a bank account right now and it has your name in it, then you can just say, hey, I put this in my name as the trustee, and it's for the benefit of the benefit of the trust and the trustees. I'm doing it on behalf of the trust. You got the
Can you
right to.
give an
That's why you have a right to bring a claim for the trust in the trustee's name. That way you don't have to have a lawyer. But if you make the trust have to bring a claim, then you have to go get a lawyer.
Can you maybe give another example on that? Because my other question but on taxes, like what are
I can't really,
some
I don't
examples?
really know how to explain it to you no more than
Oh,
you
okay.
can put anything in your name as the trustee for the trust. And it still belongs to the trust.
And it
Like
would still belong.
I could convey something to the trustee for the trust. And it's in the actual trustee's name. That's just like your car. Your car could be in your name the whole entire time. And if you're the trustee, it was conveyed to the trust. But you see what I'm saying? But it's just in the trustee name, which it gets to hold it in its name for the trust. It don't
So
matter.
like say for instance, because the other gentleman, Joel, man of God, was asking and inquiring, can you be all three positions basically? Can you wear all three hats, sit in the same seat, but just wearing different hats?
But you're
It would
never
be
sitting
like,
in the same seat. Like I can't perform the duties of a trustee from a beneficiary seat, nor can I perform it from a grantor seat either.
okay. And so in order for me to convey my like non-trustee, non-trust, nothing, I want to grant my car, I want to create a trust. And so I want to put my car into the trust and I'm going to convey it to the trustee, which just happens to be myself.
Yeah,
I would,
you can do that, but you have to say it's been conveyed to the trustee, which is yourself, on behalf of the trust. It literally has to be written in that manner.
okay,
And
that's
then
kind of, and
state
then,
for whatever purpose that is being used in the trust.
which would be, well, one, like if I have to run errands, do whatever, but, fishery, I suppose it could be for both then, but
I tell you what,
I wouldn't have,
let's look at it like this. All right, let's say a car is in your name, right? And the car is within your name, but every day your husband drives the car.
okay,
So now, what is your husband?
he's a beneficiary?
Because he got in. Now, does he own the car?
No, the trust does.
No, let's just say your name is the trust. Let's just say you're the trust itself. So now,
Oh.
but your husband is the one that drives the car more than you. The question is,
Correct.
does he own the car?
No,
Same situation then. So if you look at it from that perspective, then you will understand what I'm saying.
that's a good, very good example. Thank you. And how would the trustee deal if you're dealing with a revocable? Because an irrevocable, you're trying to not have to deal with taxes. How does that look for tax? Oh wait, if you're in a 508, then you wouldn't need to do taxes, even for
If
even
it's
for a
used for
revocable.
religious purposes, then it's no point
Oh,
of having to worry about the taxation situation, especially if the trust is considered an auxiliary of a 508c1a, which is a church. So if a church creates a trust, then or a trust was literally established for a church and the church uses that particular trust and operates it, then anything that's done within it is considered an auxiliary of the church and it has no reason or you don't have to go and ask for tax exemption or anything like that. It just is.
how does one person gift or give their, or for a church 508, excuse me, for a 508 entity and or a non-508 entity, how are we able to convey our wages from our employment? How
I,
does
Audrey
that,
Darnell, hereby convey my wages from the employer to whatever particular entity you're saying for the purpose of this and for the beneficial interest of either the trust or entity or some form of beneficial person. Sign it off as yourself as the grantor to the trustee, and boom, both sides' signature is done. There you go.
and then when I have to do my taxes, I can do that as a write-off. Am I kind of getting this?
I mean, it just depends on if you want. Well, it's not even a write off because it's not no money. A write off would be that the trust is handling some business of the trust, and it spent some money, and that is a particular write off. So
You're
if the
right.
trust has to
Okay.
compensate, the trustee, that's a write off. If the trust had to pay for bills of whatever, then that's a write off.
Like electricity or anything like
Yeah,
that?
all of that's a write off.
Okay, I think that's all I have. My brain is like, woo, that's a lot for me right now. So I really appreciate you answering my questions. Thank you, and this is for their questions.
Yeah, no problem. Alrighty, we got Ayers. Go ahead.
Hey Eric, So my questions, as far as the like the conveyance or whatever, the way we put it in, like can we do a chart instead of like writing it out like it
It's your
looks on
trust.
the
You can do whatever you want to with it. It's yours. As long as it's understood, easy to read, for you to understand, to explain, or whatever the case may be to all parties involved.
Okay. Okay, and the last question is, you said something about like in the class, everything going through the trustee, like I guess everything being paid through the trustee. My question is like, okay, let's say, I have 3 or 4 trustees or whatever. Anytime we pay something for the use of the trustee or for the beneficiary or whatever, it has to go through a card that has the name of one of the trustees on it, correct? Is that making sense?
So you're saying, but see that like you're asking me that if the trust owns something itself and it's within the trustee's name, is it a write-off?
No, not a write-off. Like, my understanding of it was like, okay, we as trustees, like let's say the house is in the trust, and in order to pay the mortgage on the house, my understanding was the card that it's being used to pay for it, or the check, or however it's being paid, it would have to be tied to
No,
the trustee.
because
Okay.
what can happen is you can go pay for it yourself and literally send the trust an invoice to literally pay you back. Simple.
Oh, got you. Okay.
I mean, it's also stated in the Declaration of Trust that the trustee has the right to receive any form of reimbursements, etc., that it has paid for the trust. And if the trust or whoever doesn't want to pay or whatever the case may be, then the trust has the right to sue the trust now. The trustee has the right to sue the trust or put a lien on something or anything that it chooses.
Okay. Okay, I got you. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Keisha Flood.
Hi, greetings, Eric and everyone else. Just a quick question. So, when creating the trust, okay, so I purchased a vehicle for my daughter 10 years ago. She was 16. She's a young adult now. And the vehicle is in my name still. But if I were to put the vehicle in my trust, however, and let's say at some point she wants to create a trust herself, would I be able to transfer the vehicle in my name, her vehicle that's still in my name, to her trust? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm finna show you.
Oh, okay.
You got the right to manage the trust assets. So you got the right to execute contracts, conveyances, and commercial transactions, which means that all you got to do is sell it from one trust to the other. You can sell it for $1.
Oh, okay. So
You can
a
give
bill of
it as a
sale, so to
gift.
speak. Oh, gift. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, another question. So I have an estate EIN, and also I had filled out the fiduciary Form 56. This was about a year and some change ago, but I'm in the process of establishing my trust right now. So can I assign that estate EIN that has already been established a year ago, along with the Form 56, to my trust? Can I attach that to the
I
trust
mean, if
already?
you want to, but that means you got to change the classification of the actual EIN, the entity itself.
Okay.
I think that's an 8832, if I'm not mistaken.
You said 8832?
I think so.
Okay, I'll look into it. Okay. So, and if I have to, when I reestablish, I'll look at the 8832, look into that. But let's say because you were saying the EIN, the EIN number is assigned for banking, right?
I mean, because that's the only other reasons you're going to use it for is because you're out here trying to carry on business with it or for banking purposes. That's it.
Okay. So therefore, can I use my trust to make purchases using that EIN number?
Yeah, it's up to you.
Okay. So what do they look at to justify making a purchase using the trust
I
itself?
mean, it
Does
just
it look
depends.
in?
If you're going to do some type of form of loan, then they're going to usually, until the trust establishes its own full front of credit, the same way they would do with an LLC, they would either ask the trustee or the grantor, whoever it may be, to apply their social security number along with it, just so they can have some type of credit to back it up. Then once you get it started, they're not going to worry about that anymore.
Okay. Okay. So basically, how I look at it in my mind, as far as this trust is concerned, I'm thinking at it like, okay,
Or
you're
hold
using
on,
your own.
or I mean, a trust could have,
Okay.
because see, the difference is this. It depends on how you do it. Because like, if you want to go to a bank and use the trust portfolio and say, okay, I'm going to leverage some form of asset, I'm going to do a secured loan here. So I'm willing to give this particular asset, which values this in this trust, and I want this amount of money. So
Okay.
let's say you had a 1964 Impala,
Mhm.
and it's fully to the core, everything that you want it to be. You can go leverage that, and let's say it belongs to the trust. So now you can go straight, give them a secured interest in that particular asset, and get the money that you want. There you go.
Wow. Okay. Okay. That's exciting. Okay. I'll keep that in mind. So, and literally what we're doing, you're taking your all caps person or straw man, regarding the trust. You're just creating, this is how I'm looking at it in my mind. You're just creating an entity, right, with the trust by establishing a trust to go out there and just kind of do business
To do everything that you
for
already do.
yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
Okay.
the main thing is this: the trust is his own person for one. So just like it is if it's an extension of you, but at the same
Right.
time, it's going to outlive you.
Okay.
Your word will always outlive you.
Yeah. Okay. And for the beneficiary that you name in the trust, let's say my beneficiary, and I think you did touch upon this in class, and I believe I do recall you saying that you can, and this is long as it's in the trust somewhere, basically stating that your dependent or your beneficiary has the right to use the vehicle, which at that point would be in my name, um, to conduct businesses regarding the trust, right? I've given them permission to do that.
But it necessarily have to be when you say in your name, what do you mean by that first before I answer?
Wh- Okay, the vehicle is still it's in my name, right? Which at that point obviously is the all caps name because
Right. So if you're going to do it that way, you have to make sure you
Mhm.
specify in the conveyance that it still has the right to be, because like, okay, if you're the trustee, then it can be conveyed to your name on behalf of the trust.
Okay.
You can do it that way, and then it still
Mm.
can keep it in your name, or you will literally have to clarify that the name doesn't have to change. It still can be in the name of the individual or whoever the case may be. Just make sure you clarify in the conveyance that it belongs to the actual trust,
Okay. The
and
conveyance.
that
Gotcha.
you still have the right to keep it in the name.
Okay. Okay. That makes
See,
sense.
everything's
Okay.
just
Got it.
about what you say. That's it. It's because
Mm-hmm.
our word is bond. So what we say is what is. It's what's the reality of the situation.
Okay. Okay. And one more. What validates the trust, right? Like I know some people agree to have it notarized, and you can also use the United States Code. Was it the 26, 28?
You can do it's 28 USC 1746.
Right.
But the situation is this. When you ask me what validates the trust,
Mm-hmm.
I mean signatures, agreements. That's it. That's all. You don't got to go do all that other extra. Like the thing is was when you went and signed for a car, was there a notary there?
No,
Exactly. What validated that contract? When you went to a bank, did a notary have to be there and sign with you to open up a bank account? Nope.
no.
What validated that contract? Only thing they going about is that this is your signature, this is your agreement, and this is what you agree to. That's it.
Right, right. Okay, that makes sense.
So really, if you don't want to use a notary or have to go about a notary, remember our word is bond. What we say is so. So that means we just declare ourselves on the penalty of perjury, that everything that we're saying is true to the best of our knowledge. That's it. That's all you have to do. You don't need anybody else. The only one that needs a notary is corporations, so that you can say that, one, you have the right to entitled to be who you are, to sign something on behalf of some form of corporation. That's it.
Okay. Yes, that's good. All right, that's music to my ear. Okay, good. All right. Okay, well, thank you, Eric. Thank you. I really appreciate everything that you do. And, fez off gratitude to you for that. Thank you.
Thank you. August, what's up? August Euphoria.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
All right. So, let me get my notes. All right. So, I have a question about defending the court. So, last time we were on, I told you I had a court case with going on, and we mentioned
Is this what
the meeting.
is this dealing with a trust? I don't want to get too far off and stuff that's supposed to be for work sessions.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Well, okay. Yeah. So, it's dealing with the trust. So, I'm just trying to find out, if there's anything that you could mention about things that might come up when defending it in court, like
I mean, the only thing that's
disposition.
going to come up defending anything dealing with a trust is your documentation accurate? Do you got, it depends on which perspective you coming from. If it's a trustee, do you got the conveyance? Can you show the proof of ownership, etc.?
Okay.
That's it. Because because remember, the burden is on you. If you making the claim, it's on you. If you want to shift the claim, provide the evidence that the trust actually owns it. Now the burden is on them to give something that proves the trust don't own it, or whatever the case may be, which they can never do because you're the one that set up the trust. So really, you're the main record holder of everything. So provide your records, provide your truth, proof, law, and your relief can be granted.
Thanks so much, man.
No problem. All righty, Jai, you had something else?
Yes, I did. And I really hope you feel like talking about this today. Sometimes you run it back, and I really want to run something back. I'm glad that Terry brought it up. It's regarding our birth certificates. So I obviously I've been with you for a minute, and when I joined, you were talking about the conveyance of body, birth certificate, security, all of that to the trust in a certain value. Now, what exactly did we do that for? Were we establishing basically a ledger, money on account for our trust? And what can we do with that?
Whatever you want to with it, because if somebody doing something that starts a constructive trust, you can charge them for the value of whatever it is that they're taking from the trust. It had no right to use the trust property.
Okay, so let me be more clear, because maybe I'm not being clear. Okay, so we valued you valued your certificate of security, I think, at like 200 million.
It's
You conveyed that over.
It's the estate itself. But go ahead.
Right. So the value of the estate. Okay. I know that you're gonna go over like security agreements and all of that like later on, but we've already gone over it in other classes. And so are we supposed to be using the value of the birth certificate as a ledger for the purpose of the trustee to discharge the estate's debts using negotiable instruments based on what we value that certificated security at.
I mean, not really, because as I've already covered in the past work sessions, it's already set up within its own self about what you're supposed to do, and I think we covered that Wednesday. If it starts as a promise, it ends as a promise. Now, if you gave the trust duty to operate and deal with certain bills, et cetera, and all of that stuff. So since you're talking about the security agreement, and we didn't talk about that this particular class because I really did this for beginners and just also
Right.
people who are advanced to understand that they have to administrate within the trust. But if you go
Right.
back and talk about In God We Trust, the In God We Trust conference, to where I showed you putting your body, putting your signature, putting your time, putting your name, and all of these different intangible assets within the trust, then you have the right to value those things and leverage those things, especially if you're going to do a security agreement from the trust to the actual straw man, and that the actual straw man is given all of its property and collateral based upon the administration and services of the actual trust. Now that trust has the right to all of that property. It's first in line, first in right, and you have to operate to make its claim, which is why we're going to be talking about trust administration in Destin, Florida, because now you got to know how to administrate to protect that. So, I mean, it's just you
Okay.
truly understanding on administrating to protect all property, assets, et cetera, that is in relation to the estate. So
Okay, cool. I think I got.
if somebody's handling and dealing with the estate automatically without even, if it starts a constructive trust. So as you said, that starts out with 200 million with me. That's just the beginning.
I got it now. I got you. Okay, I was confused. Thanks for the clarity. Now, when we do this trust administration class, because a lot of things were like raised in this Q&A today, and I think that it sounds like some people have some questions about how you even move forward with one, like the absence of taxation if you are using a 508 organization and conveying wages, income, whatever to your church to be used to take care of the people, or if you are going to simply be operating out of a trust that is not a religious organization and needing to do the 1041. Is that going to be part of the trust administration class?
I mean, that's part of taxation, and that's still part of people understanding what needs to be done based upon how you claiming stuff within a particular trust in the first place. A trust don't have to pay taxes in the first place because it owes no obligation to the state. Number one, everything is under a private situation, just like this class we're going to be doing in the People's Private Bank. Anything that happens within it, it's private. It's not a commercial transaction in any shape, form, or fashion. So therefore, it has no power to tax it. The only way the government has a right to tax it is if the actual U.S. citizen has a control or right of interest that belongs to it, which is why we take that away from the actual straw man, and you let everything belong to the trust and everybody else just using it. You're using the property.
Okay, how do we convey that to the Internal Revenue Service when they are going to be expecting your individual to be doing a tax return? And how do we convey that?
But why are you going to do a tax return when you ain't got? What's the purpose of filing one then? Like
No.
That's just like if
But
I'm
I'm
gonna make
saying,
listen what I'm saying. If I convey all my money into a trust, why am I going to do a tax return?
you wouldn't, but they would be expecting you to. So
They can expect a lot of shit, but that don't mean I'm gonna do it. I'll sit back and chill, and then when they send a letter talking about this, I'm gonna be like, here's the conveyance, here's the certificate of trust. I don't own any of it anyway. You guys have a nice day.
Got you. Nice.
You see
All
what I'm
right.
saying?
Thank you so much for running that back. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, you don't own it no way. So that's all we got to do is just prove the record. Correct the record for them. Hey, I don't own this. The trust does. So if you just want to give them a notice or whatever, like matter of fact, you can tell them from this point on to put the I tell you what you can do when you get your checks, put pay to the order of the trust, or put pay to the order of the trustee name. Or remember, if you're the actual trustee, then guess what? And it already comes in your name. You're just receiving it as a trustee on behalf of the trust. So it don't matter anyway. It belongs to the trust regardless.
Or you can have it direct deposited into the trust
You can
account.
do that too.
Got you. Okay. And then, like you said, if Internal Revenue sends you a letter, notice of deficient filing, or the fact that they haven't received,
Right.
you just follow up with the conveyance, the certificate of trust, and let them know that those wages, that income is no longer associated with the grantor.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All good. Go ahead, Tina. We haven't talked to you yet. What's up?
Hi there. You said something earlier that kind of piqued my interest, and that was to put the stuff in the trustee's name. So if you have to bring a claim, you don't have to hire a lawyer. So I understand what that means. My question is about, are there particular things in your mind that you would put in the actual trust name and otherwise keep in the legal person's name? And
No.
then I was
I'm
so
not
everything.
keeping nothing in my legal name. Nothing.
Say
Everything
that
I
again?
have is already belongs to the trust.
So everything is titled in the name of the trust.
Or it could be titled in the name of the trustee, which is still you.
Okay. So right. Okay. So I guess my question regarding that is that you either put it in the name of the trust or the name of the trustee. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So then what things are most beneficial being in the name of the trustee versus the trust name?
Nothing, because it's the same.
Oh, my trust is a different name than the trustee.
It
I guess
doesn't
that's why
matter.
I'm
It's
asking.
the same. The trust name is the trust, but if something is conveyed to the trustee on behalf of the trust and you still put in the trustee's name, it's the same.
So, okay, let's
Okay, it's like
take
this.
the next.
Look at
Uh-huh.
people who operates a church. All right. And the church has a clerk, and this clerk has to go open up a actual bank account. So let's say the church does not have an EIN number. So the individual that's the clerk is going to go open up a bank account in their name on behalf of the trust. On behalf of the church. Simple. And that means all
So-
funds and related to it belongs to the church.
So that means the clerk is the trustee and their name is on the account along with the trust name?
And no, the trust name does not have to be on there. Their name is.
Okay.
That's it.
So at this point, do we retitle our bank accounts to the trustee name, give them the certificate of trust, and
I want you to think
or
about
do we
slow
create
down and listen
new
to what
accounts?
you're asking me. Like, cause I'm trying to save y'all time without having to do so much extra work. Like
Right.
let's say you already got everything in your name right now.
Yeah.
All right. So let's say you're the trustee.
Okay.
So only thing I need to do is just go back and say, okay, I conveyed this car to the trustee on behalf of the trust. And now it's in the trustee's name. So now, do I have to go retitle anything?
No, because you have the conveyance in your trust.
So it's no point in me going to retitle anything then, is it?
No,
Exactly.
because your name, your legal person is the trustee.
There you go.
I was thinking about the bank account.
Even if it's a bank account, it don't matter. Even if it's a bank account, let's say a bank account is in my name right now. And let's say I just do a conveyance saying this bank account is hereby being conveyed to the trustee on behalf of the trust. That means it still gets to stay within my name if I'm the trustee. It's no point. I don't have to change it.
Okay. Do you change your signature card and start signing
I
as
don't have to
trustee?
change anything.
Okay.
It's no point. See, because the reason why I'm telling you is this.
Mhm.
It's the same thing as I said earlier, which you said you understood. So if you go and file a lawsuit with the trust name, then the trustee cannot represent it. It has to be a lawyer because it's a fictional entity. And the reason why is because they can't talk to you as the living. Now, if you go as the trustee and file it, then guess what? A trustee is a form of a fictional title as well. So now you're doing it as a pro se on behalf of the trust. So you're going to speak from the trustee perspective. Now, the trustee has a what? A right, a legal title, which it holds. And it can show proof of ownership. And now that trustee has to perform its obligations based upon the declaration of trust and the actual conveyance, right?
Yes.
So that's why it gets to go and file something pro se. It's no difference than you even dealing with it in any other thing that you're doing. If you want to retitle everything, go ahead, you can. But the truth is, you don't have to.
Well, that's good to know. Because I was like getting ready to like notify everybody.
Well,
This account's now in trust.
The least case scenario just go state on the record that the beneficiary of the account is the trust. That's the simplest thing you can do.
Okay.
And
Cool.
you ain't got to retitle nothing because again, the trustee is holding something for the benefit of the trust.
Got it. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thanks.
No problem. Do everybody got that?
Nah, I lost you a little bit just at the end right there when you was explaining that part right there. You saying that if you title the trust as a beneficial owner, right? You title it, but you're not gonna have to like notify anybody. You're just doing that on your own documents for your trust,
No,
right?
you can like she was just asking me if she wanted to. I'm telling you the least case scenario to go do is just go to your bank and say, hey, I want to make the trust the beneficiary of this account.
Got it. You're just changing that one thing.
Well, you just add it. I mean, and the only reason
Right, like if you already got a bank account, basically.
yeah,
If I
so
already
you
had
don't have
one,
to go through
right.
closing out the account, retitling, and all that
Redoing
extra
it.
crap. Yeah, you ain't got to go through all of that, especially
Nice.
when you are already a trustee.
That's what was sticking me up with me changing up the card to the trust, and I was like, damn, I'm gonna have to redo the bank account. I'm gonna have to redo
It's
everything.
no purpose. It's no purpose when you're already the trustee. Now, if you're going to do it to where you got a 508, etc., and all of that, then yeah, you're gonna have to do a little bit of retitling and stuff
Switch
like
it up,
that.
yeah.
But again, you can literally. It's all about how you write it. Because I also made sure if you go look at the what was it about the wages to where you could actually keep the assets, etc., within the name of the grantor. You don't have to change anything. Let me see. I forgot which one it is. It might be asset conveyance.
Yeah, I do remember you showing us that though. Yeah, I definitely remember you showing us that.
All right, he's conveyed the legal title. Because it can still be in the name and everything still belongs to the actual trust regardless.
Yeah, because if I already have a church and I already have the church, I already gave them the trust, the certificate, all the documents, right? I would just give them. Do I even have to go and give them a conveyance of the vehicle now? Then basically, like showing them that I now conveyed the vehicle to the bank account, so that the bank account knows too, or
it's no reason to. Like I'm showing you a whole loophole because the trustee is already there.
I already have the church. I already gave them trust, all the documents, right? I would just give them Do I even have to go stick them or something?
I have to find out which one it is. I know it's in
That's
one
cool.
of them.
That's cool. Thanks, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
All right. Hold on, wait quick. I can't remember which one it is off the bat, but again, guys, like one thing y'all got to get out of y'all head is that it's a wrong or a right way. It's really what you want, and it's what you clarify. That's it. You know what I mean? And that's all you want to do. So you don't have to go retitle anything if it's already belonging. Like if it belongs to the trust and you're the trustee, so you can put anything in the trustee's name on behalf of the trust. It does not have to say on behalf of the trust. It just needs to already be notified in the internal records of the trust. That's it. Because when it comes time to prove stuff, then they look at that conveyance. That conveyance needs to say exactly that. You get what I'm saying? That it's being held on behalf, the trustee is holding this on behalf of the trust. That's it. That's the only thing that needs to happen, nothing else. All right, we're gonna get 2 more questions in, and then I'm gonna fill y'all in on this actual class we got coming up. And make sure y'all get this recording, go back and listen to everything, go back and read everything fully, and just know like a lot of stuff that I gave you, it's basic, but it's advanced. And what I mean by that is it's also open enough to you to put whatever you want to in the trust. Say what you want to say. It's you giving the powers of something to happen. Right? So it's totally up to you on that particular point. Go ahead. Terry, you had another question?
I did. Going back to, I think Audrey mentioned it, and then somebody else had mentioned it as well. So the wages, when you can, I understand. By the way, brilliant idea about the trustee's name, which everything is. And would you not then create a trustee in the name of, for me, it'd be Terry R. Ellingson, Terry Ruth Ellingson, Terry Ellingson, and maybe all of anything my accounts are in, and they're all acting as trustees. Could that save me a lot of headache?
Yeah, because it's already done. Is my point. Like you already got bank accounts in your name right now, right?
Yeah, no, I'm
so
digging
you
it.
don't have to go retitle anything. Just do the conveyance, and that's it. It's done.
Yeah, no, you broke through. I broke through on this with you. So, but you have an interest still that's been withheld because an employer, a third party withholding agent, decided that they were going to withhold from you on a W-2. And
so go change it. You can change that any given time of the year. You can say that you don't want no federal funds, no federal withholding. You can go change that right now today.
We've done that, and now we're being penalized, and so
but see,
we have a lot
now. So what you supposed to do then? If you're being penalized and it belongs to the trust, then that means you're not operating the trust business. So you have to go notify them that they penalized you for these particular things, and you don't own it. Excuse me, you don't own it. It belongs to the trust.
I'm with you on that. And then there's additional payroll taxes. Would you just go back and make a claim on an 843 on that, and or a 4852, which is a
anything that you want to bake has to be undone on the 843. So that if they penalize you for it and you know the trust owns it, then you got to do the 843 and then send in your documents showing that the trust own it, and you're done.
Okay. And then man, I just love your idea of that trustee. That was brilliant. And then lastly, I don't know if you want to get into it right now, so it's cool if you don't, but you had mentioned in Keisha's question about reassigning and reclassifying the estate. Why would you need to do that?
Because of what she said that she wanted to do. It's based on what she said. Do you remember what she said?
No, I don't. She said assign the estate EIN to the trust.
She want to assign it to the trust, so she has to go reclassify it. And now that the trust actually owns that particular EIN number, that's it.
Okay.
So reclassify the entity.
And I do think you're right. It's an 8832. All right, 32. Anyway,
Yeah,
something
I
like
think
that.
it's 8832 if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, I'll let you go. Great stuff tonight. Thank you. And I yield.
All right. I don't like I say, I don't want to go too in depth over people who don't know what a lot of y'all are asking. So, but I try to answer anyway in a manner that it don't get them too confused
Oh,
at the same time.
well,
So
did you say? Can I ask you really quick? You said, I wrote this down. I thought I wrote it wrong. You said you can keep the assets in the name of the grantor, assuming the grantor is the same name as the trustee.
see, you see how you word stuff?
No, what did I do wrong? Okay.
I mean, it was no purpose of mentioning the grantor when you're the trustee. So we could have just
Oh,
left the
but-
grantor out of it. You
But I think-
you will
I think I
confuse
heard you
yourself
say
by
that.
saying it the way
I mean-
you said it.
Okay. Well, because the names appear very similar, now you don't need to change anything. You're the trustee in that similar name, but you are wearing the different hat. So it just simplifies everything.
I mean, I understand, but it's just the way you
Way I
worded
worded
it. It wasn't no point of even mentioning the grantor at all because again, you're the trustee. It's already in the trustee's name, so you don't have to go retitle anything when the trustee has the right to put things in his name on behalf of the trust.
Exactly. I do get that. And I'll work on my wording, but that really is brilliant. What a breakthrough for me. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah, no problem.
I yield.
All right, guys. So I'm glad we talked about this because even what we're going to be speaking to you guys about, and I'm going to give you roughly 10 minutes on this and not too long, just kind of to give you guys an idea of what the actual private banking is about that we're going to be doing. And what's so important about it that, like I say, a lot of people are not really getting of what we're saying or what I'm saying and why it's important to do this. Like the reason why we go through with everything that we're going through, like at first there was only private contractings with people. People had PMAs and all this different type of stuff to where it didn't involve the government. The more we got away from this stuff, the more we started leaning in, depending on the government, allowing government in business, allowing government to orchestrate our actual currency, a way of dealing with stuff, all this type of stuff, right? And you can remove that. So we have to get back to being creators ourselves. And the way to do that is first and foremost, like, what is wrong with our current system right now? So the US dollar is not backed by anything but debt. And every time the government spends money, they print more money, and this causes inflation, right? So every year the dollar is becoming worth less. While everything around you, gas, food, rent, labor, it just keep on going up, right? Every single time. So, and worst of all, when you earn or receive those same dollars, you're hit with an income tax, even when it's your own labor, your own gifts, or barter. But you have to remember, this is the part. When you say it's your own labor, it actually is based upon the U.S. citizen's labor. And the U.S. citizen is responsible for all debt of the United States, which is why it's going to be taxed and everything like that. That's why nobody should be operating in this entity alone. You should be giving everything to a trust. Everything, right? You have to do it that particular way. If not, then, hey, keep living under taxes. So the question is how long are you guys going to keep operating inside a system designed to siphon your energy and your value and your wealth? Okay, so we're going to teach you how to build your own system, a lawful one, a private, a debt-free, inflation-proof, and not only that, it's tax exempt. So what is actually the People's Private Bank? It's not really a theory. It's not a theory at all. It's not a loophole. It's based upon a trust-based financial system that allows you to own and store your value. So that means your labor, your goods, your services, your ideas, anything, right? Inside a private irrevocable trust. So you create your own private trust-backed currency, issue the currency to members you can do it through a PMA if you want to, whatever the case may be. And the reason why I say that, if you ever notice, every time you go to certain places like Hibbett's or City Gear or whatever, Like even gas stations. Hey, do you want to be a member? And they have you sign up for something, right? Now you become a member. You just don't be knowing. Y'all guys don't even understand it. You just entered into a form of a PMA with them. Right? So that's all they get to write all of that stuff off that's going on through the awards, all the stuff that you get with them. Yeah, it's for write-offs. Any form of coupons they give you is backed by bonds, including into the membership, all of that stuff. Don't forget that. Okay. So now you also get to spend and redeem that currency internally, all right, in a closed loop economy. And you get to avoid taxation legally by staying out of public commerce. So you get to preserve the value of your time and property outside of inflation and deflation. So if you're somebody that, I'm just going to use basic things, if you do cosmetology stuff or whatever, then you don't have to pay taxes on that if you operate in this way. Because now your actual clients are members of your private banking, and that only thing they're doing is in exchange of your trust credits or currency that you're giving them, right? And they have to purchase those or make a compensation or donation to receive those credits as well. So it's just a full exchange. So what you get to do is preserve the value of your time and property outside of inflation and deflation. So you can set up your private trust. It becomes the lawful owner of your goods, services, skills, and intellectual property. The trust document legal authorizes you to issue your own private credit backed by those assets, okay? Because now if they buy the credit from you, they have the right to use that credit to what? Get your services, right? So you also get to assign your value to the trust. Okay, so if you got photography services, your inventory, your consulting, your art, your labor, even your farm goods, we create an assignment agreement to fully record it as well. The trust issues the trust credit to, which is your private currency. So this can be physical certificates. It can be digital tokens. So if you guys are interested in creating those different coins and stuff like that, NFTs, whatever the case you might want to do it the way you want to do it, or you can just use a simple ledger as well, or and you can make ledger entries, what I'm speaking on. So every trust credit is backed by something real, not by printed money. Every credit clearly says private trust credit backed by trust assets, not for public use or sale. All right. So once you do that, then now it's no longer a commercial actual setting here. Okay. It's not one at all. So now you got to understand the members purchase those credits, and this is where the public dollar stops being yours and becomes the trust property. All right. So now the money does not go to you or your particular business. It belongs to the trust. So just like you doing your wages, guess what? It belongs to the trust. The trust owns the money now. So now it can't be taxed because there is no commercial transaction here. So let's say a member gives you $500. In return, the trust gives them 50 trust credits. They can now use those credits to purchase services or goods from your trust under private agreement. So if it costs $500 for you to do some form of certain hairstyle, you give them 50 trust credits, and then they use those 50 trust credits when they come and get their hair done. Simple. That's all you got to do. And there's no need. Now you don't have to report anything because everything belongs to the trust in the first place. Right? So all of this is private. Now, it's no EIN required. It's no business license. It's no tax ID needed. And you're not operating in commerce. Your trust is literally a private contract. And the members sign the contract. You operate by private law, not by not public code. And again, it's no difference in asking them, say, hey, be a member. That's it. They sign everything else everywhere else they go. And it's going to help them as well. So if you're doing business with people or doing anything like that, it'll also help them being tax exempt on certain things and expenses that they spend. So what we have, again, it's going to be $200 in live stream, $250 if you come in person, or we got an $800 package where we literally build everything for you from the ground up. We'll create the trust for you. It's fully compliant, enforceable, and private. We create the trust indenture, the assignment forms, the private currency, and the ledger. You can receive the PMA contract to onboard members lawfully, even if it's just yourself or whoever else. And you can receive consultation time for it as well to assign your value properly and establish your internal pricing. and we'll walk you through how to operate it and keep it legally protected and off the public record. Okay. And you get full access to the course as well. And we also give you a ticket to win a 2026 Toyota Camry and $25 in credit on the actual In God We Trust Academy.com. Right. And the most powerful part is you created a private wealth system that you fully control. So why is this a system is immune from inflation and deflation? It's because in the public system, currency is manipulated. In your trust, it's valued. One trust credit always equal a fixed amount of value. Say, let's say $10 worth of your service, $20 of your product, etc. Right? Prices don't swing based on Wall Street, war, or interest rate. They are set by you and based on real assigned value because it's literally back behind something. Right? And since the credits are internal to the trust, there's no taxable event occurs. You're not making public income, and you're exchanging value between members inside a lawful contract. Fully tax exempt. So now you get the leverage and the advantage you gain. You stop being a consumer of currency and become an issuer of currency. You eliminate inflation losses. You eliminate tax exposure. You eliminate business risks, liabilities tied to public entities, and you build your own ecosystem where you, your family, your community, and your supporters operate from a private trust banking. You can do that forever. Literally, communities should operate like this anyway. So this is for people who are serious about protecting their wealth, tired of waiting for approval from banks, CPAs, or governments, ready to create instead of beg, looking for a lawful path to sovereign financial control, committed to doing it right, and no shortcuts, no fluff, no theories. Now, here's another advantage that it gives you. Let's say you got clients. So all of your clients are members. You can show where all of your clients are literally putting this particular money, which also now makes you able to do what? Show proof of funding, right? Now, if I get to show proof of funding, it's easy for me to go leverage my assets here, my proof of funding, because they're going to see, oh, you got clients, you get money. You get this, you get, so now that shows your ability to do what? Ability to pay. You can easily get money now. Simple. So now, like I said, you're not required to get an EIN, but you can get an EIN for banking purposes with this private banking trust. So now, once you show the members that you got in, the money that they're flowing in, so now if you got your ledger, you can just go show them, hey, I need this certain amount of money, and yes, we do have the ability to pay. Because that's all they want to see. Simple. Okay? So if you ever said there has to be a better way, this is it. If you ever said they keep getting richer while we work harder, well, this is why. If you ever dreamed of being your own bank, well, here goes the blueprint for you. So again, June the 20th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, we're going to be in Washington, Seattle, Washington, guys. So if you want to come in person, you're more than welcome. Go to InGodWeTrustAcademy.com. Again, that is InGodWeTrustAcademy.com. And you can sign up for either tier, the $200 tier, which is the online, and the $250, both are the same. $250 also, we are giving away a ticket and $25 in credit too. So you will receive a ticket if you come in person for the actual raffle ticket giveaway. And we also, like I said, $800, you get a full system built and the consultation. So that's just to give you guys an idea of what we're going to be doing with that and to show you how to remain in that. Okay. Now, do you actually have to, if y'all guys got a trust already, do you really have to build another trust? No, you just need to know how to include this, make a few amendments, and include it into your trust to allow it to be able to do these services and things like that, which we can also show you that if you want it to be already in the trust that you have established. But unless you just want to make a separate trust, that's cool because you are operating from a business standpoint. That's also cool as well, but it's totally up to you. But I did a actual 501c1a, and we were doing certain things, and it was called Peace of Mind. So I created what I call token vouchers, and for certain product, et cetera, that people wanted, they had to buy the token voucher to be able to shop with other members within our actual group. So, and they would receive those credits to get what it is that they wanted out of our particular group. So yeah, if you want to know, have I done this before? Yes. Does it work perfectly? Absolutely. It's all about how you plan it, how you do it, and is it fully tax exempt? Absolutely, because it's operating in a private trust. It's not a commercial transaction. It's all based upon private contracting. It's not a commercial setting, none whatsoever, and everything is benefiting the trust. It's not going to an actual individual or anything like that, right? So just remember that, and just know the members are actually the ones who's receiving whatever for. The actual one who set up the trust and has the services is the one who's actually receiving those particular funds, etc. So just so you know that this is something that you could do and set up, teach others to set up, and you can even create it to where your private bank accepts other people's currencies from their banks. So now you can use that, put that up as an asset into your private bank, and being able to go and use that within theirs if you want some form of services from them. Totally up to you. But this is just to give you guys a great idea and what is to be coming up. So don't miss this class. We got literally 14 days before this pop off. All right, we've been literally promoting this class for a minute, almost three months and a half, maybe something like that. So it's definitely going to be a dope class. It's definitely going to stop you. And this is not tax evasion. It's just it's just avoidance. You don't have to, because there's no reason to. It's no difference than everything that we talked about today. Now you're just operating it using your business and your skills and everything that you do now. All right. So what do you guys think about that? How does that sound to you?
Oh, you can include me on that one. Oh yeah.
Sounds good.
Sounds really
man.
good.
Very good.
Amazing.
It definitely works. I do know that. And this is what people used to do. But we stopped because, again, we became dependent instead of independent. So we don't have to let people we don't have to value a freaking dollar. We can value us and what we're willing to accept. You see what I'm saying? And just learn how to use public money. You can take public money, but you just make sure that the trust owns it and then use it for whatever public reason that you need to use it to help benefit and expand anything else you want to do. That's it. That's all you got to do. So now let's say that you have a salon, and now you got to go buy your beauty products, etc., right, to continue to do hair. Well, now you take that particular money, US dollars, that was used to purchase your credits. You go take that money to go buy your products, right? And when you do that, that keeps it what? Tax exempt still, because it's the trust fulfilling the obligation. All of these things are considered to be write-offs, and it's also to help do the administration of the trust and continue to expand. Because remember, you're putting all of your goods, services, and products into the trust. So if you go buy something that's supposed to be used for the trust, tax exempt. You can't be charged for it. So hope you guys are interested in it and hope this makes sense to you guys. But it is a definitely great thing for you guys to do. And overall, man, I'm just excited about doing this class as I have been any other. And this is just another step for you to understand trust and how trust operates and how to move with trust. And really, this is literally the same thing one country does to another. You come here, you use US dollars. The US dollar is in a form of a trust, and it's operated and being used for all the goods, services, and products of the United States. And it's backed by the people, labor, and energy. So why not do it your damn self? I keep telling y'all, everything the government do it yourself. Do the same exact thing. Just do it for you.
It reminds me of Forex.
Same thing. Except for it's you, though. It's yours. Forex was attached to other things that wasn't you. Now this is yours. Completely. Right? So, with that being said, man, I hope everybody had a great night with us answering these questions again, and be ready for us Monday, 11 a.m. Central Time. We will be right back here with our work session. And, man, let's see what we got in store for us to do. Okay? Let's see. Who knows? I might do some form of a little extra trust class based upon the things that you guys ask. Who knows? We'll just have to find out how that goes. All right. So I appreciate y'all, and I hope
Thank
this helped you
you.
guys a lot tonight. And always, man, peace, love, and law. Love and appreciate you guys. Stay diligent in everything that you're doing. Just know it is our duty to serve every single right. It's nobody coming to save us. It's you who have to save yourself.
That's right. Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
Amen. Amen.
All right.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bless you, man. Bless you.